Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. I'm Pete and I'm here on YouTube Live doing our usual pre-filming chat. Just going to chat about some stuff that we've been doing as Garblag, and as the guys arrive we will discuss various different games we've been playing and some of the stuff coming up on our show and elsewhere. Now normally there's just one or two little bits of tidying up for me to do before we begin filming, and I've spotted one thing already that I just need to sort out, so bear with me for a second, merely a moment. One of these sound cables is a little bit loose and that needs to go up and above. Oh, hello. Up and above. There. Perfect. Great, that is better. So yes, I'm Pete, and I am the games master of our Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay show, Flint and Steel. And I play in our Star Trek Adventures show, Star Trek Morpheus, which we had our first session 0 of, where we did some galaxy creation. We'll talk about that in a bit. We also have Vostok's Chance, which is our Scion game, and soon we will be having D&D, Dark Heresy, and more. We're in talks with people to run some card games on the channel and loads of stuff. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Pat, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Glad you could make it. I know it's not the best of times for our friends in the States or elsewhere, but we always appreciate you joining us, and it's absolutely great. I'm the first one in the studio. If I look over here, that's because I'm looking at the screen so I can see comments. Roger will show up at some point. Hello, Egil. How are you doing? How are you in Norway there? Thanks for joining us once again. So I was going to stop doing live broadcasts because I thought it was impacting my capability to film actual episodes. If you watch the shows that we put out, you may notice that apart from Scion that went out yesterday, the last 3 shows that we've done on a Thursday have had a slight sound reduction in quality. And that's simply because I was being silly and I wasn't setting it up correctly in between live broadcast and then recording. So I just had to change some settings, which unfortunately I didn't realize because, as some of you may know, my time is quite constrained in my access to the studio. Not because I can't get in here, but because there's lots of other things going on, some of which we'll talk about. However, I've come in here a bit early today, and I've had a look, and I think I've figured out what's wrong. So hopefully, although the last episode of Flint and Steel had a slight suffering on sound, hopefully the next one will be fine, and we'll be back to our excellent new equipment. As you can see here, we've got all of our microphones and everything that our wonderful patrons help us out with. Cool. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm just going to do the standard blurb that we normally have. I don't know why I look at the sheet anymore because we're pretty much, I'm pretty much there. So you're watching us on YouTube Live. However, we do also have a podcast over on Podbean, garblaggames.podbean.com. And over there we have got Masters and Monsters. We've got Flint and Steel, which I've been updating. And I'm about to start putting on our Vostok's Chance and the Star Trek Morpheus as well. So Egil, I have not really noticed anything with the sound, but I guess you pay more attention. Well, thank you, Egil. You're very kind. It wasn't much. It was just frustrating for me personally, as I've spent a lot of time taking the help from the patrons to make this into much more of a better studio, and it was just a bit frustrating that I had slipped up. But anyway, yes, we have a podcast. We effectively just turn the videos straight into a podcast now. I'm trying to cut down. The more videos we do, the more stuff we do, I'm trying to streamline everything. So before I would put a bit on the beginning and fancy it up a little bit. But now, because the sound quality in here is so much better, we're just turning them straight into audio, which is great. It just means I have to remember when we're filming that people will be listening in the future. The podcast is a little bit behind the channel. We are primarily YouTube. That's what we're trying to aim for. Try to build our audience here. And we're now up to 1,094 subscribers at time of filming. Thank you very much, guys. It's absolutely awesome. Breaking the 1,000 mark was awesome. We're nearly at 1.1, so that's pretty cool as well. I mean, it's really taken off recently, so that's really cool. Anyway, we also have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can check out all the things we're doing there. We primarily communicate via Facebook. Secondary is Twitter, and then Instagram comes along when we've got some nice pictures to show off, or some stuff's come through, which I can talk to you about as well. If you want to go to any of those places, like, comment, share, anything, YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, please do. Every like, comment, upvote on Reddit, we're on Reddit as well, that we get helps us just spread the message a bit further. Hopefully that comes back to people joining in, watching our shows. So that's cool. Hello, we've got 5 viewers now. Welcome everybody to Garblag Games live on YouTube. I try not to swear too much because it's not past the watershed here in the UK. But elsewhere in the country, it's probably middle of the night. The world, it's middle of the night. Anyway, we also have a Discord. I don't know if anyone on at the moment, because I can't quite reach the keyboard from here, wants to share one of our Discord links. Maybe we can do that later as a comment on this video for anyone watching after the live broadcast. We've got a whole bunch of people on there now. We're talking about, obviously, primarily about role-playing games, but we've got some gaming going on there as well. Some of the cast play games on there through a voice channel. And we've got special channels set up for games masters, players. Just set up a channel for maps. Here we go. I finally managed to recover my Reddit password, so I will look you up there. Eggle, brilliant. Well, funnily enough, it's you/Garblag. So go and check that out. We're sharing lots of stuff on there. Mostly maps, some of the worlds we're building, that kind of thing. Okay, what else are we doing? Yeah, Discord. Go and check that out as well. I'll share a link. There's links on all of our videos. If you just go and check out Vostok's Chance after this, you'll see that there's a link for the Discord there. Follow that through. And as I said, we've just set up a maps channel where we're trying to do a bit of a sort of chat about how people draw maps, because I've really got into it recently, obviously, and my Patreon is based a lot around that. Tips, tricks, ideas, thoughts. Pat's on there, other people are on there. Oh, thank you very much, Pat. I will just confirm that link. There we go. Okay, that's the Discord. Larry, greetings from the UK, new subscriber here, looking forward to more Star Trek adventures. Hello, Larry. Thank you for joining us. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you joined us from the Star Trek Adventures Reddit subreddit. That's cool. I shared some of our stuff on there, had some interesting conversations with people who didn't like some of our ideas. Obviously, pushing new boundaries and seeking out new life and new civilizations in all its forms isn't necessarily what all the Star Trek fans want. But anyway, that's talking about Discord, and Pat's kindly put a Discord link there. And thanks for the maps channel. You're welcome, Pat. I think Pat is got his own Patreon, Foot of the Mountain Adventures. Go and check that out as well. He's doing a series of maps, and at the moment he's got to one of his number goals, and he's doing a series of one-page adventures, and I'm going to try and help out with that one in the next week or so, hopefully. If that's still in time, Pat, let me know. Cool. Talking of Patreon, we have a Patreon, funnily enough. I've mentioned it a couple of times. We're now up to 41 patrons. You awesome people out there supporting us, help us to make this better for everybody. All the kit and equipment we have, all the gear, all the stuff, we get the odd bit of sponsorship, but apart from that, everything in here is down to our patrons. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. If you want to check it out, please head over to patreon.com/GarblagGames. I love to see that happen, even if it's late. As I mentioned to you, Pat, my time is kind of a bit chocker at the moment, but luckily with all good things, so I'm happy, full life and content. So it's great, and spending time with you guys is just like icing on the cake on a Thursday night. Cool. Just checking the comments there. No, we're okay. Cool. Okay, up to 7 viewers. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Garblag Games on YouTube Live. I'm Pete. I am, I suppose, producer of the channel. Sometimes games master, sometimes player. I like doing both, although I think 95% of my role-playing career has been running games, creating adventures, creating worlds and settings, and I try and share some of that through my Patreon. So over on our Patreon for free, if you go over to the Patreon page, on the left-hand side, we've got kind of featured tags. And there I've got tiered based ones, but I've also got a free content tag. And there's a whole bunch of posts there where you can go and get D&D subclasses for Planescape. There's various maps. There's a whole traveler setting. There is a D&D primer, 20-page PDF primer. Hi, Pete. Oh, from D6 Evil Men. Hello, welcome again. Hello, and welcome to our live show. Just going through some of the free stuff on our Patreon over at patreon.com/Garblag Games. So there's loads of free stuff, and we have various tiers. I only really tend to talk about the first two tiers. We have our initiate tier, which is $1 a month, and for that, you get an adventure location, which I can show you shortly, every month. And when we hit our collective goals, if I say we're going to release something special, then all patrons will get those. The next tier up is our $4 tier, the Adventurer. And the Adventurer gets every adventure location that I create, which, to be open and honest with you, I have just started. However, I've shared things in the past. But we have just... we released the Abandoned Tavern a couple of weeks ago, which the Initiates and Adventurers got their hands on. It was a 10-page PDF with detailed maps, description, hooks, all kinds of stuff. And then yesterday, day before, can't remember when it was now, time goes by, I released the Smuggler's Hideout, which is based off another map we released. And that is a 9-page PDF with description, details, adventure hooks, etc. So that's there. So the first one's gone to everyone. The second one's gone to adventurers. And I'm just about to turn the Mountain Tollkeep into another adventure location. So that's coming very soon. I'm having a lot of fun doing all these maps. It's great fun sharing it. We share a lot of that through Twitter and Instagram. A bit on Facebook as well. There are some Facebook groups that have joined that are really cool. So there's Fantasy Worlds and Maps. There's RPG Map Creation. There's the World Builders Sanctum. All of those groups are really cool for sharing, ideas, thoughts. People give you very candid views, but constructive criticism. Things about how your rivers flow, what your mountains look like, how different geomorphological land masses should meet, form, and change. As a student of geography at university and someone who makes maps and is in spatial analysis for a career, some people think it's a bit odd that I spend my free time drawing maps as well. But I love maps. There's something about them that you can convey about your world, about how you draw your map. So it's very cool. Saw some really cool stuff about crystalline mountains. Someone had done a very Art Deco style of a map, and the mountains look quite crystalline. And I said, are they crystalline, or is it just a style? And they said, oh, hang on, that's a really good idea. And then the next picture was a very cool colorized version, and it was all kind of purples and greens and stuff. And it was very striking and really evocative, that kind of thing. Very retro, very cool, very now. I think, and that kind of to and fro with people is really interesting. And that's the kind of thing that I want to kind of do a bit on our map channel on our Discord. So go and check that out as well. So we've got our Patreon, we've got our Discord. We have some products on DriveThruRPG now. So everything I release as an adventure location will be released on DriveThruRPG. If you don't want to become a patron and subscribe to something monthly, completely get that. And I'm bowled over by the number of people who have actually signed up to the Patreon. It's amazing. If you just want to dip in and pick one up, they're like $1.99 on DriveThruRPG. And we sold a bunch of those already, which is really cool. It's really great to get that. And I'm feeding all of that back into our games, our channel, all the content here. You can't see it, but we've put up some new sound insulation on the walls. When the next Patreon money comes in, we're going to be expanding that. I think it adds a good feel. I think it helps to warm the room up because it's pretty cold here in the UK, and my studio is actually just my garage. This wall over here is going to get foam insulation on it, so it's not looking just like bare breeze blocks. So there's lots of stuff coming, and sorry, just checking I'm not missing any comments. That's cool. Anyway, enough plugging. That's too much plugging. What's come through recently, which is really cool. I've been chatting with Modifius, who creates Star Trek Adventures, the game. As as Larry pointed out earlier on, we've started our Star Trek Adventures. Really looking forward to it. I'm getting to play in that one. I love Star Trek. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. We've had a massive response to that. Nearly 500 views in like a week. So absolutely amazing, absolutely brilliant. And thank you everyone who's watched that. Modifius have been very generous, very kind. They have decided to support our show by giving us some materials. So they've given us book, they've given us dice, and they're giving us PDFs of all their new content. So we've got the operations, the command division, the beta quadrant book, all of those things. Adam, hello, thank you. Hello, Adam. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Welcome from the States, as quite a few of our viewers are. Yeah, so Modifius are helping us out with our show, which is really cool. They're a great bunch of people, and I really like the new rules. I think it's very dynamic. I like they've made it very Star Trek, which is cool. And obviously, they've got some very nice dice. Let me see if I can show you the dice. There you go. You get them color specific based on your department. And since my character is going to be Chief Science Officer, I asked for some blue ones. Let's have a look. Alex Moss. Huzzah! Finally got to catch the show again. Hello, Alex. Welcome to Garblag Games live on YouTube. Damn children have kept me away last couple of weeks. What have I missed? You've missed the blurb, so don't worry. I've been doing all the blurb, talking about the Patreon and all that kind of stuff, and people are probably sick and tired of that, but it's kind of that helps fuel the whole thing. So if people support us, we can keep going. We can create more shows for you guys. We've got a load of stuff coming, and I'm really excited about this year. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we're still going to St. Albans Comic Con in July, which is going to be great. So that's lots of fun as well. So as I was saying, we've got some support from Modifius with some books and some dice. Oh, let's have a look. The diversity of the systems you use is one of the great strengths of the channel. Thank you, Eggle. One of the things, well, the advantage I have is that sort of about 16 years ago, working in a bookshop in the town, I decided that we should stock role-playing games. So I asked the manager if we could try it out. It worked. We stocked role-playing games for quite a while until after I left the bookshop. But in that time, we also started the St. Albans Role-Playing Club, and it's been going since about 2002, 2003. So I think about 16 years. And that has been a whole cast of people has come in, moved in, shown different games, tried different games. We've played a whole spectrum of things. And what we're doing now is more and more people from the club are watching the show. They're seeing the quality improve. They're starting to feel like maybe I want to join in, and I'm open to all, as long as you can talk in front of a camera and, you're not going to be overly abusive or offensive, then that's cool. So more and more guys are coming in and girls, importantly, and it's great. We've got a load of shows going on. Oh, Larry, my group has been playing Star Trek Adventures for a few months now. The layout of the player's handbook can be confusing at times, but you get used to it, and we've been having loads of fun. Excellent. We want to hear about that. Come and join us on the Discord. Talk to us about your adventures. We can all learn from all the games we've played and all the pitfalls we've had and all the troubles with the systems and the difficulties with the books and all kinds of things. The one thing I would say about this, the design is amazing. It's all LCAR's display. It is a Star Trek book. Really is. The printing must be mental on that. I mean, they do printer-friendly PDF versions of everything because all of their books are on black. And you don't really want to print it out as a player. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold left over from last week, so if I sniff a bit, that's why. So, still waiting for the guys to show up. They'll be here soon. I got on slightly earlier just to get going. Really, it's a bit cold. There's threatening snow tonight, so we may finish a bit earlier. So our episode of Flint and Steel might be a little bit shorter. We'll see how it goes. We'll probably check the status outside every now and then just to be sure. But it's been a general trend, isn't it? It's getting quite cold in lots of places. We've been hearing about Chicago and all kinds of stuff here. So we're trying not to, feel like we're badly put upon by winter. But we Brits, we do like to complain about the weather. It changes every 10 minutes. So we've got something to talk about. So what also the other thing I picked up, as I said, excuse me. Sorry about that. As I said, how's the heating in the studio? The radiator has been on for a good hour. And I'm sitting here. I've got my hoodie on, but I'm not cold. But I tend to feel cold a little bit less than some other people. So you probably have seen in some of our episodes, people have got hats on and gloves. Anything that helps them to get through. One day, it will all be nicely insulated. And I'll have some better heaters, and it will be better in the winter. The flip side is, I don't know if you saw in summer, we had a couple of episodes where it's like 30 degrees in here, so we had to take a break in the middle and open the doors and let all the air out. So there's a flip side to insulating a small space like this. But anyway, enough of that. So recently sold some Black Road Zweihander RPG setting copies. I think I've got it down here. Yep, this is my it's just a printout on paper. What's that? Everyone should have a shot of whiskey pre-game to stay warm. You know what? I've got some rye Jim Beam in the house. I could probably sort that out. Minus 21.6667 degrees Celsius here in Kansas yesterday. Whoa, minus 21 degrees. Okay, I'll quit complaining. You know what? It's really warm here. It's cozy. I'm loving it. Anyway, so I sold a few more of those. Black Road, our Zweihander. There you go, Adam. Adam, there is our Zweihander buddy. And I sold a few more of those. Oh, hello. We've got a visitor. We have someone. Is it Roger? It might be. Hello, come on in. I'm going to stand here and shut the door quickly so I keep you in.
Good. Oh, it is cold out there.
It is. We're live. And we
everyone.
have 8 people watching at the moment, which is cool. Adam, Eggle, Alex, Larry, D6 Evil Men, Pat's on.
G6 Evil Men.
That's maybe we should roll. I was just saying that I've gone through loads of stuff already, all the blurbs, so don't worry about that stuff. Sold a few more bits on Drive Through RPG. And
cool.
What that meant was I could buy this.
Cool.
Planescape book in the cage. It's a quite dark cover, actually. A guide to Sigil. No, cold is cold. You should complain. Good point. Looking forward to more Black Road. Yes. And that will be later in the year, but we were absolutely going to return to that because I want to flesh the world out. I want to use that show as an excuse to expand the setting, and that kind of thing. But I recently got my hands on this, which is a reprint of an old TSR AD&D second edition book for Sigil, the City of Doors, which is the big, planar loci of the Planescape setting. I also found the old maps that I have. I just got to unfold this one because this is the map of the city of Sigil, and it shows you the kind of thing. Okay. Some of our map friends might be quite interested in this. It's a bit hard to see. I'll take a photo and I'll share that. But basically, it's a giant donut, tire actually. So it's over a tire. Cool. Roger's getting
the comments.
The feed up so you can read the comments. So it's that moment. It's always a bit weird where I can hear my own voice. Really cool old maps. Very stylized, very Planescape. Absolutely love those, and we'll be using those in the show. They'll be out, and I'll put images up on the screen, or we'll have top down, and we'll be able to move things around to say where we are in
Someone
the city.
done like PDFs of those or something? So
there are captures of them, yeah.
Wicked.
And then this is a reprint. It's like a scan print, but it's actually really good for what it is.
Is that from Drive Through RPG?
This is from Drive Through RPG. One of the few ones that they do in print. And so I've turned the profits from the sales into stuff for the new games, so that we can get some old Planescape going on and some D&D 5th edition, which is going to be excellent.
It's going to be very cool.
We're going to do that after Flint and Steel, which is, we're filming tonight, episode
8.
8. Yep. And you guys are getting close to the castle area, aren't you? You're finding your way to the old lodge near the stream, and then you're going to maybe go to the
stream.
Yeah, so there's lots going on in Flint and Steel, which is really cool. Anyway, how are you doing, Roger?
Yeah.
You feeling better?
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah, I'll go with ish.
You couldn't miss Flint and Steel, though, could you?
No, I went into work today, and the whole day I was just thinking, it's worth it for Flint and Steel.
I saw you drive out of your house at 8:30.
I thought you were coming the other way.
Yeah. Cool. I found the screen.
Hey.
I thought I'd lost the screen.
I wonder when they're going to do one for 4th edition.
Well, there's
got to be coming up soon.
There's one in the starter set.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Which our friends over at the Old World podcast, which I should also talk about, have just reviewed. I believe the interior of the box, it's like they've tried to use as much space and stuff as they can.
That's quite cool, actually, if the box is actually a GM screen.
Yeah. It's like a starter screen.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like, I think you slide it together in front of you.
Okay, so it's not like a full GM. Okay.
No, they'll do a full one. I think that one's based around what you need for the adventures in the box. But there's loads of stuff in the box. It's got like a Uber's Right guide and series of short adventures and all kinds of. It's really cool. And I should talk about the Old World podcast. Actually, I thought Lance might be on by now, but unfortunately he's not. So this weekend, in fact, I'm going to be recording an episode of the Old World podcast. They've very kindly invited me on to talk about converting characters in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which is the topic of their podcast. Converting characters from other editions to 4th edition. Which we did at the beginning of season 2 of Flint and Steel. We did a character recreation episode, didn't we?
Episode 0.
And in that, we figured out how to change the attributes, and we did some experience stuff, and we looked at the difference between the characters. And they've invited me on. There'll be episode 14 of their podcast. So there are 13 episodes that you should go and listen to now. I don't know if anyone on the chat could find the oldworldpodcast.com and share a link in the chat. That would be cool if you could. If not, don't worry. These guys are great. Lance, Steve, Matt, and a couple of others who join them for adventures. They do some really good reviews. They've got a good sense of humor, a very Warhammer sense of humor.
It's a very dark,
but funny. And they have an actual play with here we go. Egel's just shared it. Thank you very much, Egel. I'll approve that. Oh, we've done it a couple of times. Look at that. I'll share it twice. Thank you, guys.
Oh, look at them. Good effort.
Yeah, thank you. You should go and check it out.
Can't really see thumbs up. There we go.
You with your gloves on.
Sensible. It's -4 out there.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Don't worry. We've been talking about temperature. It was -27 degrees in Kansas. So,
damn.
We can't really complain, but we can.
We can. We're British. It's what we do.
He said, don't worry. Cold is cold. Always complain. What was I saying? I've completely gone off track. Oh, Old World podcast. Yes. So they've done various things. They've gone through and talked about different careers. They've looked at the book itself in a few episodes. They had T.S. Lookhart on there on episode 13, who's helped design the starter set.
Oh, cool.
And some of the adventures to talk through the starter set. It's a really good episode 13. I was annoyed I didn't get on episode 13. I like that number.
Should have been about Skaven.
About what?
I'm a dwarf. I know they exist.
They don't exist.
They do.
You silly dwarf. Anyway, they're a great bunch of guys. Really good podcast, and they're very kind to invite me on. So I will be chatting with them this weekend about character conversion, what to do with XP, what to do with your characteristics, some of the expectations you should have around converting to 4th edition right now, and then some of the big differences. Like 3rd edition, is it right that you can't play a halfling? I don't know.
Dunno.
Someone answer that question for us. There's obviously a bigger difference in some of the setting-based restrictions on races than from first to fourth, like dwarves can't be wizards anymore and all that kind of thing.
Well, they should never have been, but
Yeah, well, that was the original fantasy setting, wasn't it? And then they changed it and kind of made a whole theme. TS is a great guy. Yes, he is a great guy. He's a funny guy, great sense of humor, clears up the whole debate. It is called Woofrup. He says everyone working at Cubicle 7, everyone at Games Workshop, they all know it's Woofrup. We've been telling you guys for a long time that it's Woofrup. What I love,
I never even knew it was a debate.
in America,
always just been Woofrup.
and other places, they do say WFRP, which is quite a long-winded way of doing
inefficient.
it. Yeah. Halflings are in an expansion in third. An expansion?
That seems
Nonsense.
Silly. They're one of the 4 core races.
I know. Anyway.
Sorry.
Oh God, I'm losing track. I'm going mad today. Yeah. So there's lots going on. Podcast, the Old World podcast is going to be a lot of fun. And keep an eye out for that because it will be up sort of a week or two after we've recorded it. Maybe a week, I don't know, depending on how much of a mess I make of it.
So a month,
yeah. Ogre.
I'm hearing
mark.
voices.
Oh, we've got voices. Here we
dun,
go.
dun, dun.
Hello. Uh-oh.
I have no idea who it could be.
Trouble.
Oh, it's
I don't
definitely
know what you
trouble.
mean. Good evening.
I love you.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Oh my
Who's
God.
going where? Oh, we're
People.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever we
I
like.
will
Well,
scoot.
We can.
There's
a scoot today.
He has a dead
For a
Tony.
bit.
specifically.
We are live. Oh, thank you. Thank
Hello
you.
live.
Ah, they come bringing beer. I've had a tough day at work. Oh, hello. Oh, blimey. Look at that. Oh, look at you. You're a beautiful man.
Oh, I've let the side down here.
That's fine. It's fine. You guided them safely.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I did
I
try
was-
to push them into a bush.
I was there.
No,
I
she
did.
didn't. I'm joking.
That's what
Do you want to come over here?
He was there.
Come on, then.
Yeah.
John,
We've
'cause
got
it's
4
tradition.
seats over there.
Yeah.
Just wait for Simon. and
John
then-
is at home playing Red Dead Redemption.
Of course he is.
And I,
Can't
as
play
I,
Red Dead Redemption. It would take over my life.
as it turns out, I'm not as late as I thought I was going to be.
No. So we've set up a better camera. Hey, everyone! Most of everyone is here now.
Evening.
So the cast of Flint and Steel.
So,
So I was just telling the viewers that I'm going on the Old World podcast this weekend. to record their next
so
episode
I
with them. They
hear.
invited me on to talk about character conversion to 4th edition.
Do you have
Um,
any experience with that?
a little bit. Hello, new people. Ah,
Nude people?
Oh.
You can't
No,
have
that
naked people on the
escalated.
internet, Pete. You get kicked off.
Now,
Ogre? Question mark. Lord of the Rings. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
I'm pretty sure they're on ogres as playable characters in Woofrup 4th Ed.
Not in 4th
I
edition.
don't remember them in 2nd or 1st either.
Maybe in 3rd. I'm not sure.
I would have thought they'd be a
Um,
little bit imbalanced.
They are, but obviously probably have some hefty negatives. You know, I mean, they're in Zweihander. Very good game, very good system.
That's very good.
You know, there's a really great setting for it on Drive-Thru RPG called Black Road, which I may have mentioned
Nudge.
earlier on.
Nudge.
But you know,
I don't know how cold they are because they were only in the fridge from when I bought them earlier today.
It's all right. If they've been outside, they'll be
That's
cold.
just for me, is it?
just have a look.
Just for me.
The
Toys.
book. Look at the book.
Toys.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh.
I'm doing it.
Is Jim still a probably?
No, he's a no.
Oh, okay.
Jim won't be coming tonight, unfortunately.
Aw.
So no heart to him again. He's a slag. I was just showing off the lovely stuff that Modifius sent us.
That's
Oh,
a shiny
cool.
thing.
That is
Nice.
shiny.
Can I look at the dice, please?
You can. Be careful with them. They're my dice. No, they're science department dice that can be can be used by anyone on the. I've also got some of the command
Has
dice.
anyone
over
else
here.
seen the dice? These
Right.
lovely people seen the dice?
The
camera's over
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh, we're all the way over there.
There you go.
I can't reach
These
that
are
one.
some of the command
Definitely can't
ones.
reach that one.
So they color code them for the different departments that you can get. So you got red,
Oh,
yellow,
cool.
and blue.
Yeah.
What department you're
For a
in?
moment, I thought you still meant like school or something. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
In the English department.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Red
In the
would be
maths
the
department.
English department because the books were always red.
God.
Also, it really
can't
threw me
remember.
when I saw the symbol on the one. I thought, that's rubbish. Why would
No,
you want that on the
you
one?
have
But
to
no
roll-
ones are good in this.
Yeah, you roll
That
low
would
in
make
Star Trek Adventures.
I was going to say they're in like
They're really
Death
nice.
Watch
They're
as well,
by
but you don't use D20.
the dice are by
doesn't help.
Q Workshop,
Yes.
and the link here is that they've also done the dice for the Woofrup starter set. So the dice you get in the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay starter set are also done by Q Workshop, and I can tell you, they make really nice dice. If you go and check out their website, they do all kinds of weird, cool, funky. Yeah, these are like.
They are, I believe, either runic or elven, but I've been using
Yeah,
them.
let's see. Elven. I think they're Elven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been using one of them for my White Scar,
Okay.
and then
In your
I've
Death Watch
also
game.
started using them for Scion.
Larry said, once you've had a few episodes done of Star Trek, you should do a mirror universe version of your characters. That's always lots of fun.
That's dangerous
Okay,
because I'm playing a Cardassian. Oh no, in the mirror universe, he's probably a lovely guy.
I was trying to think if we did a mirror universe of our Flint and Steel characters, I'd make
we
Patrick
were
some
thinking
kind of like
about doing
hippie.
one in a Zweihander world. weren't we?
Oh, that's it, where we were doing evil
Yeah.
ones.
It's
Yeah.
20 odd years later.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he's a science officer. And
That make Morgan a necromancer.
Yes,
Oh, he
probably.
does.
So, yeah.
yeah. And about 15 years after
Hold on, would that make
Nemesis.
Patrick like
Hippie.
a wizard?
Yes.
Yes.
You'd be a known
And-
diabolist. Like in Zweihander.
Oh, my known DM. He was a git.
He was a git. It was great.
Where'd this come from?
So those maps are from the old
Maps.
Planescape setting.
Yeah.
That book I just recently got from Drive Through RPG.
Which is awesome.
Yes, and that's the print thing.
But you
Bagric
have-
Chaos
you have
Dwarf.
Planescape.
Bagric the Chaos Dwarf
Hmm?
You have
Sorcerer.
Planescape, right? Don't you?
I do, but not that book. That book is an extra book that came out that's just on the city, and it's got loads of stuff and loads of setting things. So
Lovely book.
Torvald would have to be like a
Lady
berserker
Payne
or
does look a
something.
bit silly.
it looks rubbish there. Lady of Pain looks rubbish there.
Yeah, there
Because
you are.
she's quite terrifying. And
Torvald
Yeah.
the
also all
Chaos
other
Dwarf
images.
Berserker.
Chaos
Kind of
Dwarf
like a
Berserker.
flower.
Bagric the Chaos Dwarf Sorcerer.
Pacifist.
No, it's or Sorcerer.
Yeah. Chaos Dwarf Sorcerer.
Morgan would have to be a necromancer, complete polar opposite of Moore.
That would be cool.
First time. I mean,
Alvin would be a competent, sensible hero.
who was scared of fire?
Who was
terrified of fire. Torvald would be getting lost all the time.
Oh, and
bumping into everything.
Sensible, competent hero.
he would also
but
be
who
a
was
drunk,
Really
Oh, yeah.
passive.
and he'd be
Yeah.
potentially vegetarian because he does like hunting.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah. That could be a good one shot.
Oh,
Just-
this is pretty.
It's nice.
Just
isn't
the
it?
idea of Alvin not being colossally random, it'd just be
I
strange.
think we need to
Yeah,
get
but you'd
someone
have
else
to
to
have someone
play
else
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you,
Part of
Simon.
Simon's charm. Love you, Simon. Absolutely. He'll be here in a minute.
Bam.
Yeah. In the room. He's under the
Hey!
Right.
Speak of the devil.
That's brimstone.
Hello. Hello. Come on in. Your coffee is waiting for you.
We've been expecting you.
I did say I was coming, and I did exactly say when I was leaving.
You did.
So you had a fair guess at when I would get here.
Roughly.
But
But you never know.
No,
they are a bit overlooked, Alex. I agree.
What's that?
Kay's saying Alex
Then-
was reading the lore on Chaos Dwarves the other day, but it's such an overlooked part of Warhammer.
If John's watching this, which I don't think he is a massive, massive fan of the old Chaos Dwarf
The
stuff.
proper Chaos Dwarfs or the ones with
The ones with the silly
bazookas
hats.
on their heads?
Yeah, the ones with the silly hats.
The ones that Forge World did towards the end of Warhammer were really cool. They were
I remember
lovely models.
stomping them at Blood Bowl.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
I suspect they're going to turn up in Total War as well, which should give them some love.
The first
Okay.
time, well, the
Quite
first time I
cool.
saw them, they're
Okay.
probably
I mean, that's a
there for it.
suspicion. I couldn't say that they
I
are or
remember them
not,
being
but
really, like a line
Yeah.
that would be really cool if Chaos Dwarves were in there. And
Yeah.
hopefully, Cubicle 7 will do a book on them because they never got one for Second Ed.
We'll see. They're
I
going
also
to be busy.
really
though.
want Lustria.
I know you do. Everyone keeps going on about Lustria, but I think we need a bit more
Oh yeah, we need
local.
we
first.
need the armory, we need the bestiary.
Yeah.
I used the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders as my Night Goblin Wolf Riders. They were called the Hooded Death.
Cool.
Yeah, and they were absolutely amazing. And obviously they're not in the rules, but they
You
were
just
wicked.
made it up anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. They were one of my
Can you
special
imagine
units.
Chaos Dwarfs in Total War. Oh, Roger loves
Yeah.
Total War. Yeah.
Total War is actually
Total War
cracking game.
Warhammer 2.
Yes.
Yes.
One of my other Night Goblin units was the Beer Tent. because basically someone had blown the horn to go to war, and they'd all ran to the entrance of the beer tent, so the whole tent just went up.
That sounds like love.
That does sound like love.
It was just a movement tray with a beer tent,
Oh,
and
wicked.
it had a little divot at the back, so you could put dice on to show how many men were left.
Did you have like one guy like poking out the
So
front? or
basically,
something?
you had what you had was the doors
Yeah.
were kind of a bit open.
Yeah.
And there was one guy stood there with 2 swords, and there were lots of spears sticking
Oh,
out.
cool. Oh, right. Wicked. Wicked. That is cool. That's cool.
And like a little, there's a little.
You
like
can
a
say
little-
that.
like a little squig, kind of half coming out from the side.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new squigs from Games
No.
Workshop?
They're
So I've got
quite,
like
they're
50
quite
of
exciting.
I know, but the new the goblins riding them are like labyrinth goblins with little lances.
Yeah.
They are so cool. They look really cool.
I worked
Yeah.
with a guy who sculpted the nipper sticks from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the little,
Yeah,
it
little.
was his
I've never
first
had-
job.
Yeah, really?
In the film industry.
Oh, cool.
And
He
my
also sculpted Jim the Worm from Labyrinth.
Oh, cool.
my
Not
my
Jimmy
last
Hello.
funky night goblin unit
Yeah.
was I got Kemmery shields and made a Tetsudo.
Nice.
I had a night goblin Tetsudo,
Cool.
and it looked amazing.
I bet it did. I've never seen any of those.
Yeah.
I
They're probably
also-
in your loft somewhere.
I also seem to remember a night goblin unit 1 deep and 50 long that would reform to release
Yeah.
Fanatics.
Yeah.
because it's amazing how far across the table you can get when a 50 long unit pivots on one end.
Is that the one that claims 3 strategic points in? Oh no, that's 40k, isn't it?
Oh, you
Where you like evenly space out like a big unit of Imperial
Conga
Guardsmen to,
lining.
like conga. That's it. Yeah.
You would always put
Beardy-
a unit of
beardy
night
rolls.
goblins with your fanatics behind, and then you'd leave an inch, and then you'd have a 7-inch deep unit of night goblins in front of them, which meant that you guaranteed to hit because you couldn't roll 1 on 2d6.
So you hit your
You
own
always
unit.
hit your own unit, and basically you would always go through your own unit and come out the other end, which meant you always hit them.
That's very goblin.
Yeah, but the
Very
thing is-
goblin
the thing
tactics.
is,
That's
right,
brilliant, Simon. That is brilliant.
Worst case was you'd wipe out your own unit if you rolled enough 6s, but you would still do more points of damage, point wise,
Then
than your opponent.
then the unit of goblins was about to.
This reminds me why
And
I always take
if
a
you-
cheap unit of peasants with Bretonians.
Oh yeah,
You
just
guys
like
form line and
Yeah.
run at them. The heavy cavalry are just going to sit back and watch. All
very,
the fanatics
very
are out.
chivalric.
Wait, charge.
And then you didn't have to worry because you were 8 inches away, so you were guaranteed to engage in the next turn. You just charge. I don't have to measure. I pre-did that when I released my fanatics.
Part of my tactics.
Now you go to die horribly.
Cool.
Now, I understand you've been trying to distract me with shiny dice and maps and books with pictures in.
Yes.
I have remembered that I need to spend XP.
The book is up there.
Or there's
Are
one.
you
in
going to spend it on shiny maps and shiny
What are you
dice?
Spend it
Yes,
on.
obviously,
Shiny.
Morgan needs
What are you
cartography
going to
and
spend it
dice.
on?
Gambling and cartography.
Excellent. Yeah, why not? Why not?
You
It
could
sounds
do
good.
you could do like throwing the bones. I'm sure there's some bones.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't know if that's disrespectful or not.
What?
Yeah. Oh, Roger's getting out the big guns. It's got the special
Is that
edition.
not, is that not what like the priests of Mordor do behind closed doors? They all
No.
Well, I wouldn't tell
Well,
you.
they wouldn't say.
I was gonna
would
say-
they?
Well, that was in the temple. Stays in the temple.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is sounding increasingly wrong.
Oh, look at that. That's a lovely book.
You know what I
It
was
is.
saying about showing me pretty books, making me distracted. It's
Yeah.
just not.
But that's the right book, though.
It is at least the right
Yeah,
book.
it is the right book.
Staring at the cover
Correct
for so long.
It is,
it'll
yeah.
realize.
And it is very fitting.
Well,
I'm
I was,
surprised that Zweihander didn't do that. Or perhaps they did and I didn't see.
It was like a Kickstarter version, and they're just redoing it to like have a different layout with a different color offset, so you can like things pop a bit better. It looks really cool. I've seen the latest versions, and it's now on Amazon UK. You can
Oh,
get it. So
Egg was asking if we've looked at the new errata.
Not
I
yet.
haven't.
There
I
is
have-
there is some.
Rules.
I've downloaded it, but as I
on.
tried to get it, Drive Through RPG had a hiccup, which has been hiccuping a bit. I think maybe because they released the errata and everyone's been going on there. I don't know. They did some maintenance the other day.
I
and
just
it was down
downloaded
for
the
a bit.
PDF of just the errata.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah,
Doesn't,
we will check that out.
doesn't look like there's anything too significant. It's more a few clarifications
Yes.
around like
wording on some of the rules.
Like melee fist is supposed to be like brawling or something.
Yeah. Oh, what we got there? They are doing something with
there you
RPG
are.
now.
Adam
I
says
think.
there was a leather-bound edition that was on the Kickstarter.
Oh, there you
I
go.
missed it.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Okay, right. Well, the whole cast are here, so we're going to get on with Flint and Steel in a second. Please don't forget to go and check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Join us on our Discord, where we're having lots of conversations, and we set up a map channel for all those chats that I told you about earlier on. Also, go and check out our Patreon. We've just put up the Smuggler's Hideout adventure location for our
Roadside
adventurer plus
temple.
tier. Yeah, we'll get round to that, don't worry. Next, we're going to do the Mountain Toll Keep. We've already done a map for that. Then we'll have the Bandit Camp.
There's a
After
map
that,
for that.
Bandit, not yet. There's a map for that.
I think that should be a dwarf.
Then we're going to do
How
the
come it worked when
sewer.
we did it?
We're going to do the.
I think because he didn't do this.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just killed it.
We're gonna
Harry
do-
says, do you live stream your games?
We don't, unfortunately, because
We have Jim.
But we don't.
we've had Jim one episode this season. We don't know
Spirit
because
Jim
the
Cars.
No, because internet.
because internet.
and
Yes,
Jim.
we don't have robust Wi-Fi in the studio because the studio is 50 meters from my house. The studio is my garage. But yes,
Lies.
in
Professional
perhaps
studio.
in my next house. Yes, but for now we record and we put it up on YouTube and we do a little bit of live stuff here off some 4G hotspots just to give us enough bandwidth. Anyway,
So it doesn't take long to put them up because we did Vostok on Tuesday and it went up yesterday.
yes, because you gave me the laptop. It was a clean edit. There was only one stop, which was good.
Was it John?
The sound was
yeah.
good,
Called it.
and
So,
then
you know,
I
you've
put
done
it up
that,
this
no one
morning.
knows why. You're doing it live, and no one's ever seen that before.
And I'm doing it in black,
You're
so you
showing
can't
the
really
s-
see
Yeah,
it. It's fine. It's not the secret signal. It's the bat signal. Everything's cool. No one saw anything.
Can't give that away.
Okay, cool. Right. Also, don't forget to go and check out the Old World podcast. I'm going to be on their next episode
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
saw that, Pete. That's
Yeah,
wicked.
Yeah,
How cool is that?
I know. I'm really,
That's like really
How
cool.
I'm really
Such
chuffed.
a-
It's the first time being asked to be on another thing,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
I was
need
sad
to
I,
watch that.
I do because I was supposed to be there, but I wasn't.
show now. Cool, excellent. I thought you'd like that one, Egil. I thought that'd be up your street.
See, I've just noticed halfway through, well, towards the start of it yesterday, I'm like, yeah, new game, yeah, new characters. Colin starts talking about stuff, and I'm like, I need to make notes. I don't have a new notebook. I need a new notebook. I need a ridiculously brightly coloured 90s, like, awful
Retro.
notebook
Yeah,
for my character,
Cool.
I've decided. So I might
Okay.
put a thing up and be like, hey guys, suggest stuff.
cool. Yeah, good idea. Okay, cool. Right. Well, thank you for joining us here on YouTube Live. The Flint and Steel episode will be up on Saturday, so tune in then. And in between, we'll catch you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all those other places.
Discord.
And Discord. Thanks for joining us.
Chaos.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
everyone.
Oh.